Hello everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tina and it is a beautiful day to be creating with you. Today I'm going to be doing the first of multiple videos with our new Cape Cod collection. You can find all the details for the products that I'm using today on my Close to My Heart website. I'll make sure I pop links in the description of this video so that you can join there, as well as join our social media, our other social media outlets, and have fun with some crafty goodness. Okay, so for today, I want to go over the initial things that I'm doing to prep our workshop, Your Way scrapbooking workshop. So the Cape Cod scrapbooking workshop. This is the Cape Cod scrapbooking workshop. If you purchase it just like it is, you can make all three of these. You get the cutting guide, which, by the way, that cutting guide is free on my website, so you might want to grab that. But you'll have all the pieces you need to make these 6 pages, and they are fabulous. But I'm going to change them up and do a little bit my way. Okay, so I have some prep work that I've already done. And I just want to share those little details with you first so that we can be on the same page. One is I have punched out all of the die cuts that come with this. So you get 2 sheets of die cuts with this, plus you get another one that's not here. That's a whole sheet. That is our overlay that we're going to be using. You can kind of see it's focused right here. This Let's Go. That's right there. That is also one. Now, when you punch all of your die cuts out, I did want to mention I kept this. I'll show you where this is from. It's from the one that's not in the picture right now. But also make sure you keep all of your pieces until you match them all up. So like I have no doubt that these I'm not going to use. However, this one here we do need as we do our title. So I like to punch everything out. And what I do is I put them in bags. I have them in the little case that you just saw. I just put them in a little bag. I have them in the case that you just saw because those are the things that I have together to do today's part 1 of today's project. So, I like to do that. I like to make sure they're really clean and everything before, I do anything with them. Okay. So now I'm going to bring in part 1 of today's project. All right, and here it is. Here is that additional overlay. You can kind of see where I'm going with it. So you'll have lots of fun. Now, this is going to be a 3-page layout. And I know you're like, what? 3-page? It's going to be a 3-page layout, so we're going to have fun with it. But I'm going to break this down into multiple parts because if you're anything like me, carving out large amounts of time to craft is a real struggle. So I like to keep these videos on point, finish my project, make sure that I do a really great job, and then craft in kind of like sections, which is how I live my life unless I go away. I will be using the stickers, and just as a mention for this, I bought it all. I did a product spotlight video. It's right here on the YouTube channel, and you can check that out. But I got the card making workshop, the scrapbook. So let me just show you. I wanted all the things. I got the card making workshop, making these gorgeous cards, but I really wanted these seashell thin cuts that come with this. The detail are amazing. I'm a little in love with this stamp. You'll see that in a minute. I also got an extra paper pack with the stickers, and I got this stamp and thin cut set to work with as well. Like I said, all the things. All right, something else that I've added to my items. Oh, I even picked up, now I have a lot of beach stuff to do. So I even picked up an extra pack of these embellishments. All right, because they're all so good. But in my stash, I had both the teal and the blue dots. In the blue, there's Bluebird and Periwinkle. And in these, there's the Lagoon. I like to often get those out and kind of move those around with my stuff as I'm crafting. It encourages me to use them. All right, I've done a little prep work, so let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to be having some fun today. We're just going to do the 1 page today, and then I'll come back and do the additional parts of this in multiple videos. So look for part 2 and part 3 of just this 3-page layout. Okay. I'm just going to get out our craft mat. Oh, and I'm going to flip my right Versamat over because we're going to be doing a little technique. Now, I have no idea how this is going to look because this exists only in my mind. So in the event that you don't like mine, you can just keep yours the way it is. All right, I want to cover this embellishment that I have here. along with its little companion that I have over here that I am adding. It says, "You're Turtley Awesome," and here is just this little turtle. This was a former project that I did as one of our Sunday Live projects, and these actually came off my demo before the card became this. It had to start somewhere. But if you want to see this and so many other projects, they're on the Creating With You Facebook page. It's an open public page, and those projects are on there posted and free for your viewing. So you can hop on over there and check out this Turtley Awesome. So if you put in Turtley Awesome in the search, you should be able to find that. I have this one here that I saved, but for this one, I just cut this out with one of my circle thin cuts. And I ripped the other one right off the card and ready to use for it. So I just wanted to let you know where they came from, because today I'm going to be scrapbooking when I swam with sea turtles in Hawaii. It was quite the treat. One, I'm afraid of open water, so there was that. But it was just amazing. It is at a place called Black Rock. And this is a poor picture of Black Rock, but it is in fact a picture of Black Rock, which is why this will be 3 pages. I have 2 pages that are going to be dedicated to my adventure with the sea turtles, and then I have an additional page that I'm going to do with the history of Black Rock. So Black Rock in Hawaii is this lava formation, former lava formation, you know, because it's all hard now, but it actually, the last chief of Hawaii would dive off of this. And so to this day, a torch is lit at night on the top of it, and a diver dives off of it in honor and memory. And I thought that that was a pretty amazing story. Okay, so I want to try this technique, but I know that I may or may not like it. So let's go ahead and give it a try. This is our masking tape. It's the best. Literally just the best, all right? I'm going to use 2 pieces and then move my bottom piece after I get done, just to save a little of this masking tape. And then when I'm done, I'm going to put the masking tape back on my roll to save, to use again. I like to use it again and again. Here's some pieces that I have used, and I try to keep it. I can use a lot of masking tape. Okay. Try to get, you know, my value out of it. All right, off to the side here, I have some toffee ink. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just move this out of the way and slide this over. Here we go. I'm going to be doing some 2nd generation stamping on this. And so I want to be able to go from my toffee to my paper to my project. Hope that made sense. And the stamp that I'm going to be using is from the card making workshop. It's this one right here, the one I said that I'm kind of a little in love with. It has a texture to it, and I thought, why not give it a try, since I've added some toffee to this and some of my own color. We're just going to go right into our toffee, stamp off, and stamp right on our letters. And I have stamped this so on top of each other. And notice I might once in a while not do the 2nd generation, which just, this is 1st generation, your first stamp, this is 2nd. But you might notice every once in a while I might just go ahead and hit it. It's either a mistake or I thought it could be a little darker there. All right. And I thought this would just add a little something, and I'm just going back and looking to make sure that I've added that. Okay. And I'm just going to peel this off, and then I'm going to put it up at the top. That way I'm only using 2 pieces of my masking tape right now. I love our masking tape, but I do try to use all of my items responsibly. And this is just quick. I mean, it's not going to require much, and it'll change it from that stark white and bring in a little bit of the toffee that I am, let's go backwards there. Bring in some of that toffee that I have on the next page, which I'll bring the page in so you guys will be able to see where I'm going. Okay. I went a little high on this, I just realized as I'm looking at it for the, so I could do the bottom. So I'm going to need to move that. I noticed as I was stamping, it was like I'm missing the bottom of all my letters. So we'll just pop back in and grab those. Ghost says hi, everyone. For those of you who might be joining for the first time, Ghost is our dog. It's our son's dog. And he loves to be the center of attention. He could be resting perfectly comfortably, sound asleep. And the moment I go to any type of live video class or anything, he's right back in there, ready to take place, ready to take part. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel. And look how nice the masking tape peels off. This is the Close to My Heart masking tape. It peels off so nicely. And then what I do is I just kind of attach it and I just put it right back on the roll. I find that it keeps it sticky just a little bit longer. But remember, it's not going to stay sticky forever and you wouldn't want it to. The reason why this masking tape is so good, and look at these delicate pieces. These are delicate cuts that are here. I don't have to worry about that because I know that that Close to My Heart masking tape has a light adhesive to it. It's not gonna pull in any way. I use it in my die cutting machine as well. All right, we'll get our craft mat out of the way. Let's just give that a quick wipe. Okay, now that we've prepped that and we have everything ready to go, maybe we can dive in and get to some fun stuff. Okay, for this layover that you have, this is going to be one of the big die cut sheets you have. This paper here is the custom paper that comes in only the scrapbooking workshop. So you know, that's one of the things that I really love about them. Make sure you keep those pieces. As I mentioned, you're definitely going to want this piece here. Now for this, I'm going to go to liquid adhesive because what we need to do is take all of the lagoon pieces. Now you could do this, you could stamp over this, you could actually take the paper and do, you know, take the time to trace these so that each letter would be a different paper from the Cod Collection, or maybe you could do them in ombre. You could create distressed oxide ink and add that, and you know, there's so many things you could do, but this is Lagoon, which is one of my favorite colors. So I decided to do this quick technique here to change up the white, but I just realized I'm gonna need to do this one. So let me go ahead and I'm just gonna do that really quickly with my throwaway paper. All right, I'm gonna do one of the letters and then I'm gonna go ahead and stop the camera and do the rest. Okay, the letters are actually gonna go on the other side. And so that we keep that outline. And we're just gonna go through, flip them over. So you're gonna wanna be looking at the white side when you put these down. As I add my adhesive, I'm gonna add my adhesive only to the white part and not to the letter and try to guess where it's gonna go. Most adhesive does not dry perfectly clear. It has some type of a sheen to it. So less is more here, and we're going to put some adhesive on the back. So we don't need a ton, we just need enough to keep it going, especially if you use memory protectors, and I use memory protectors. So I'm just going to add very, very fine line with this precision tip and then take our pieces. And we really, you want to make sure you're filling in basically the hole, but flip it over and make sure that it's not sticking out and that it's where you want it to be. You have a limited amount of time, and once it dries, right? So just give it a flip each time. It'll be worth it. I'm just going to go in the order that I pick up my letters. Okay, everybody, we're back, and you can see that I have completed my overlay, including adding that little O piece and the inside piece, and I think it looks great. I really love how this is going to go over the pictures, and for this you know, interactive 3-page spread that I'm going to be doing, I think it's going to work out perfectly. I have already looked at my pictures, so I just want to give you a couple heads up. One, I look really goofy in my pictures, but that's me. So they're real. I was so excited. I am afraid of open water, so I don't actually go in open water very often. But I said that I was going to enjoy every single moment of this vacation. I was going to do things that made me go beyond my normal comfort zone and everything. So when I found out that you could swim with sea turtles at Black Rock, I said, I'm going to do it. And I did. We used to, my kids and my husband and myself, we used to go to the Baltimore Aquarium every year, and we would check on a sea turtle there who was missing a front paw. And I don't know, I've always really loved sea turtles. But I made sure that this picture here, I chose one very carefully so that it wasn't cut off, and I feel pretty fortunate that I had that. I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to this. And it's okay if I get adhesive. You know, I'm using my Versamat, so in the event that I end up with the adhesive, you know, coming down, I'll be able to pick that off of my Versamat and it'll be just fine. I am going to, after I add the adhesive, I'm going to match it up like this. Now, for me, I really want to make sure that it's covering the entire space, so I need it top to bottom between that lets, okay? And there we go. And I can see myself. And then this one over here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but right there is the little sea turtle. And he's just peeking his little head out, and I thought that one was really cute. And this one here will have to be trimmed, but I don't know if I'm going to be trimming it from the right or the left. I left them whole so you could watch my process. And I have some adhesive already on this S. And I think I would like to trim a little bit off of this side right here. So I'm going to take about a 1/2 inch off, maybe about 5/8. You will have to decide for your pictures. Okay. Now I think I'm good. And I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive along the edge as well. I'll just match that right up there and let it come over. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. Oh, it's perfect. Look, he's right there. Okay. Now this one here I did in my selfie. A lot of these I sent to Persnickety Prints, and I have some pictures that were actually taken by other people while we were there. And I had so many pictures when I was done. But this one here, I don't want to see this white border. And my selfie was printing with border on. So I'm just cutting off that white line. I don't need to worry about this white line because it's probably going to be hidden by this, but I guess maybe we should double check. Okay, make sure we're good to go. And then this one will go here. I think that's going to look great. Okay. And also by adding your pictures, it firms all of this up a little as well. Now this picture here has the least amount to hold it, because it's the biggest open space that we got going on right there. I'm going to make sure that I'm flush to the edge, and just that I'm spreading that picture out and that it's on both sides. And then I'm going to bring in some washi tape. All right, I do not craft with washi tape very often, but I sure do use it as a tool whenever I'm gutting pages or attaching things from the back or all kinds of things like that. And it makes them a little more stable. Makes it so they won't move. Okay, there we go. All right. And these ones I was not as worried about, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a look-see. Looks great. Okay. And now we'll add our final picture for this. And this overlay is so good. We're going to be getting into overlays, and I'm excited about that because I always like to try new things. Okay. I'm just going to, once again, I need to make sure one of these people, right? And I'm flipping it over. There we go. Make sure I don't put my picture in there upside down. Double check is better. There we go. And even though I did it, I'm going to do the same thing because it's going to make it nice and flat. I think I may have this one in a great spot as well. And there we go. And remember, it doesn't matter what it looks like on the back. It only matters what it looks like on the front. All right, so now I'm just going to take my close to my heart scissors and trim this off. You could also use your straight cutter if you wanted to. And I'm going to try to be careful that I don't pop my pictures or use a lot of pressure while I'm holding it. So I'm just going to go nice and slow. We don't want to get this far and then run into some problems. I really like to give myself these small bursts. Oh, guys, look. Doesn't that just look fantastic? All the pictures. I have that turtle up front. There's a picture of me. I love that texture that we added. This is just turning out fabulous. As I was saying, I really like to give myself these shorter bursts of craft time. I find that it takes my stress off, you know, throw a load of laundry in. I can get a little bit of crafting done before I go back to it. Or, you know, maybe I only have 15 minutes before I go someplace. I can go in and just get 15 minutes of craft time in and be consistently working towards getting my projects done though. So if I'm doing a 3-page layout and part of that is setting it all up, which is what I've done, I'm good with that. It makes my overall craft experience a lot less stressful. Okay. And now I'm just attaching this to a 12 by 12 white daisy. And this finishes, this piece when you, the die cut overlay, it finishes at 11.5 by 11.5. I'm really liking this so far. All right. They have in the guide, they show you the original layout. So here's the original layout, and I'm going to be changing it. Like, I'm not using this here. I'm gutting this paper, but you'll see that in the next one. And as I said, I'll bring in a sneak peek. But it showed these little embellishments that are down here. I'm keeping some of them, but I'm also adding a little something. So I'm going to start with that half circle. And I'm going to go right under the go with that. Okay, and then before I say this, remember, I have extra paper. So that's really important. But also, I do not plan on doing this layout the way it is. So for me, I've already gutted a sheet of this wood grain paper for how I'm going to do this layout. And I am using the inside of that to do my cuts. And this is just a little 1/2-inch strip that I tore on the one end. And I'm looking at it, but I'm thinking a little bit of toffee ink on that might bring this together just a little bit. So, oh, I think I had some green on this. Apparently green and brown are going to bring this together. I really try not to sweat the small stuff anymore. As long as it has a little bit of an inked edge here. And I do have some green tones in the water, so maybe it was just meant to be. But I did just grab this with the sponge attached as opposed to popping a new one on. And I'm going to not ink that torn portion. I tore both of the pieces that I'm attaching now. So right underneath of it, on top of that half circle underneath the go, and you can see it comes just not quite a 1/2 inch past it. And then now this is from a sheet of the paper. Let me grab that. Okay, I just followed the wave line and used my close to my heart scissors, and I had originally cut one that was 3 inches or 3 of these, and I thought it was a little too big, so I went in, I didn't cut that one down, and I cut another one off because it can be a little time consuming to do things like this, and I really liked it. So I am going to attach this, and I might be covering up that whole bottom that I inked, but that's okay. We're going to add a little bit to this, just to only to the top portion, just to have it blend with that wood grain that's above it. So we just want to do the top only. All right. And we will let this go completely onto the wood. And it is a little shorter than the wood piece. Comes in just a little bit. Isn't this turning out great? I love this first project. If this is the kickoff that we're going to have, that's going to be fantastic. All right, I told you I would share a piece that I had kept. It comes from right here on the die cut sheet. When you punch this out and you're clearing your die cut sheet, hang on to this. I saw these lines and I looked at this and I thought that could make a cute photo mat or a focal. All right, so that is currently in my pieces in case you're going to do the whole series and craft along with me. All right, let's grab a couple of our embellishments that we have here. So I have my turtle that I took off from the card that I had mentioned earlier, and that is from our Turtley Awesome set. So you can definitely check out all the details on that, and I'll try to put the links in case you too are scrapbooking that. But I wanted to offer you an option in case you are not scrapbooking turtles. All right. So there is the circle, this circle here. If you just want to make a circle, this is about 2.5 inches. You could just make a circle and decorate it, but there is a little journaling circle right here. You could also, you know, just create something from the collection by putting one of these on top of a 2.5 inch circle, but I don't think it needs to be 2.5 inches, just a little focal right here. It's going to touch all of this and bring it all together. Now I have this from our scrapbooking stamp set, the Stampin' Thin Cuts. All right, this is a keeper, let me tell you. I'm going to be using this quite a bit. I love the Stampin' Thin Cut sets because I can make my own embellishments. I can use as many as I want, and I can just make some more with whatever paper and my ink, my stamp pads. And I love that because it allows me to do more. For my local people, even though I'm not using crabs for this, I did go ahead. I'm in Delaware, so the Maryland blue crab is a very specific thing. I stamped one in Lagoon because it's my favorite color, one in Bluebird, and one in Periwinkle. And you could even mix the two of these, but that gradient texture that you see, it is built into the stamp. So it's pretty fantastic. I'm thinking I like the Periwinkle, but I could see sometimes when we get our crabs, they have a little bit of the bluer blue on it. So, ooh, decisions. Okay, I added a little foam tape to my circle, and I have a piece of the coral stamped in toffee. And I'm going to pick that up first. I'm going to keep my water going across. So I'll just pick that up. And then right here, I'm just going to add a little bit more adhesive. So that way I don't have 2 layers of foam tape or anything. And then I'm going to add my piece, watching that water. There we go. So my float, this is actually page 2 of the layout, just so you know. I think this is going to be fantastic. Okay, down here in the corner, I wanted to add just a little something. I didn't want it to be too big. I saw this sand dollar piece, so I'm thinking we're going to add that. And there's a little shell up here. Now, don't get nervous if you use this shell because you have a shell right here. So you'll be able, it's kind of things like that that I look at and I see that I'll be able to use a lot more. And now I'm going to bring in something a little different. All right, for those of you who have been following me, I am obsessed with the layered flowers. It's a thin cut set. It's this here. I am using this for all kinds of things, but now I'm using it for this because see the little kind of just, they're like little spriggy things that come off. This is from your large flower center. This one right here. It's the center. So I ended up really loving it. I think it adds just a really cool touch. I did some in almond and some in toffee. So you're going to see them in 2 colors that I have here. And I'm going to put one down here. And I think it just gives it a little something. I don't even know what to call it. I've been pulling these things out and trying them on just about everything. Just going to grab a glue dot on this piece right here. And I'm going to tuck it right here. See how it's just the cutest little thing. I don't even know what to call it. All right. A little anti-static pouch to take that sticky off. I think this one here is going to go on without, so I'll hold that for just a second, and then I'll add some foam tape. One of of our foam tape squares, and I'll just put that in the center so I can add some little pieces around it. We'll put this underneath on the bottom. I don't want to lose, I lost a little bit of that tear. I don't want to lose it all. And I think I'll switch this one and grab a toffee. That first one I put on was lighter, so I know that this one here is the almond. And I just grabbed some of my scraps. That's all I did with that. And we'll grab a glue dot. And I have that little inside of that flower, and I'm just gonna tuck that. And look at that. Isn't that just the perfect, it's just the perfect little thing. I really like it. There we go. I'm thinking this looks done. I'm really happy with it. I do see that it needs a little, it needs some embellishment. I've been bringing in a little bit of the periwinkle, and I think I'm going to stick with that. So this is in the blue dots, but if you don't have the periwinkle, use the bluebird. If you don't have the bluebird, you can use sparkles. You could use toffee. You could use any color bling you have that is in the collection that you are working with. So if you have the teal, you can use the lagoon. All right, I think I'm going to grab a little heart. I lied, you know what? I think I like the bluebird. I'm gonna grab the bluebird instead. Really can play off of that shell. And I'm just gonna add a couple right here. There we go. This is a little too perfectly across from each other for me, so I'm just gonna move that. There we go. They just seem to be pulling from each other. And up here I'm going to also add one, but I'm going to tuck it underneath so it just plays peekaboo, just so that there's a little one right there. I love it. We're done. I want to thank you guys for joining me for this video. This is our first page that we're doing with the new Cape Cod collection that just came out on July the 1st. I am going to put all the links in, but I do want to give you a heads up for the seashells that I showed, that card making workshop, and this little texture that's here. That card making workshop is currently not available because it's sold out. It is expected back in this month. So if you really love the texture that added, I think it really added something, and I like it very much. You can pick that up later, and as if the stamp isn't and the shells aren't good enough, you're going to be able to make 16 cards with the supplies that come with it. As always, if you have any questions or you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Leave a comment and tell me what you'll be putting on these pages. I always love to hear things, and share your projects. Take pictures and share your projects. If you found this video helpful or fun, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you'll receive the notifications for the part 2 and part 3 of this 3-page layout. Thank you guys so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.